Welcome everyone to the Salon. I'm delighted to see all of you. It's just thrilling to be hosting the Salon Hybrid once again, welcoming musicians back to my home in Philly, as well as artists presenting their art to you on the virtual stage from around the US and Canada. I'd like to extend a warm greeting to those of you joining the Salon community for the first time. I'm dedicating this program to Manfred Fischbeck, who was a remarkable human being with a passionate, lifelong vision to help heal the world through dance. He was a legendary dancer, choreographer, musician, poet, professor of dance and theater at University of the Arts and University of Pennsylvania, and co-founder of Group Motion Dance with Brigitte Hermann. He toured internationally with the Group Motion Company and co-led workshops with Brigitte for almost 55 years for dancers and non-dancers to express themselves with movement. These are ongoing and they're led by Brigitte, so if you're interested, please go to groupmotion.org. Manfred inspired countless students, movers, artists of all kinds. He and I were partners for many years and remain the best of friends and artistic collaborators, creating dozens of music and dance pieces together. He was on the Salon team since 1986 and was a beloved member of our community. Manfred was tragically hit by a car while walking to co-lead the Group Motion Dance workshop in West Philadelphia a couple of years ago. It was a severe accident and he never fully recovered. He passed into the light on March 17th of last year. I felt moved to dedicate this Salon in his memory on the 1-year anniversary month of his passing. I know there are some family members watching, and I also want to send my love and care to them. Let's just take a moment to honor Manfred Fischbeck. Thank you. For those of you who are new, here's some brief background on the Salon. I started my Salon in 1986 to carry on the long tradition of music in the home and with a mission to build connection and community through music. I've programmed it the same way since the beginning, with 10 performances of diverse genres, each 10 minutes. The 10 by 10 programming creates a cross-fertilization of performers and audience, and a beautiful community has been growing for 35 years. There have now been well over 8,000 performers and 18,000 audience members coming through my living room, and even more than that on the virtual stage. When the pandemic started, I wanted to help keep the community connected and to help support performers who were out of work. So with the assistance of my good friend and tech wizard, Adam Vidixis, I took the series online and called it the SZalon, the Zoom Salon. It felt important that the online series be as close to the personal experience of the Salon as possible. Performers present to you from my home and their homes and studios, and the audience can interact in real time. We were all surprised at how alive this personal connection felt even through the screen, and how artists from around the world wanted to join, expanding the Salon community. The Salon celebrated its 35-year anniversary in September with a new form, the hybrid Salon, SZalon, with artists both in my Philadelphia loft and remotely streaming in and out, which is what we're doing tonight. How often in our busy lives do we have the opportunity to just stop, to exhale, to let everything go, to enjoy the grace of being receptive? I invite you to enjoy this moment, to drop in, to listen, to see what stirs your souls. At the end, you can engage with the artist during an informal conversation. We want to show our appreciation to the performers. Those of you on Zoom may unmute at the end of each performer's set to applaud. The engineers will be changing the settings, so if you can't unmute yourself right away, please just wait a moment and try again. Those of you here in my home, feel free to applaud. We love the love. I'll offer a brief intro. Yeah, even now. I'll offer a brief introduction to each performer. However, I encourage you to read more about them on our program page. That link will be periodically posted in the chat, as well as the donation link. Please consider donating to support the performers. Even though things are opening up, many artists have lost work from the pandemic, and every little bit counts. You can make a simple tax-deductible donation through our fiscal sponsor, Crossroads Music, and a big shout out to Gerardo Rizumni, who's made that all possible. That link is in the chat. It's on the SZalonArts.org website. It's on my invitations. If you need the link, feel free to email me. Donations go to the performers, and my team and I volunteer. Everyone, this is a welcoming and safe community. If anything inappropriate or uncomfortable occurs on Zoom, please let any of our engineers know right away so they can take care of it. Send a private chat message to anyone whose name on the participants list starts with tech. Before we begin, I'd like to acknowledge the teams that are working so hard behind the scenes to help everything run smoothly. It's a long list because it takes a village to host a hybrid. So I'm going to acknowledge everyone, and then at the end, let's unmute to show them our love and appreciation. First, the tech team: engineer Gerardo Rizumni, Michael Schweisheimer, archival audio, Philo Marg Bracken, archival audio assistant, Alex Glass on Zoom, Tom West and Bill Houston on cameras, Andrew Litz on Zoom, Vartan Sarkissian, an engineer intern, George Rodriguez, stage manager, and our website manager, Lex Simakis. Let's give them a big round of applause. And wait, that's not even it. Now the Sydenham House team helping with the performers, the audience, the food, wine, and more. Jennifer Kopp-Lewis, Elliot Blake, Connie Copy, Laura Burton, Stephen Macbeth, Ray McFadden, and Edna Santiago. Thank you so much. The Salon hybrids could not happen without you. So we'll have the opportunity to meet the team at the end. And now it is my great pleasure to introduce to you our first performer who's new to the Salon's virtual stage, guitarist Dan Lippel. Daniel Lippel is praised as an exciting soloist by the New York Times. Dan has a multifaceted career as a soloist, chamber musician, and recording artist. As a chamber musician specializing in contemporary music, he's been a member of the International Contemporary Ensemble, Flexible Music, Counterinduction, and has performed at numerous music festivals. Dan will give the pre-premiere tonight of two movements from composer Paul Brantley's sonata for solo classical guitar. Composer and cellist Paul Brantley has received 5 fellowships at MacDowell, enjoyed numerous performances of his music by illustrious ensembles, and has taught composition seminars at many prestigious institutions. And now, let's give a warm welcome to composer Paul Brantley and guitarist Dan Lippel in New York.
It's so nice to be here again. Am I being heard? Oh, great. Yes, it's really lovely to be here again. I was part of one of the salons last year, right around this time. I just wanted to make a brief introduction of my piece. It is indeed, you're going to hear 2 brief movements from a sonata for solo classical guitar, which is called KITHARA, which is K-I-T-H-A-R-A, which is the historical origin of the guitar, going back to antiquity. Very, very briefly, it's kind of hard to believe, but right about this exact time, 2 years ago, I was experiencing our dreaded little virus. And soon into my recovery, which went on for 4 or 5 months, about the only thing that was keeping me company and that was allowing me to sleep was that I was listening to these wonderful old recordings of Julian Bream, the wonderful classical guitarist. Like every night, I would listen to his recordings, and especially his performances of Walton and Henze and Britten. So that went on for a while, and then about August of 2020, when I was feeling better, I suddenly had the notion that I wanted to compose a tribute to the then still living Julian Bream. And the thing is, I hope you can see this, but it was also inspired by this beautiful painting of Klimt. I know you can't see it very well, but it's Die Musik. And so, I composed this in 3 or 4 or 5 days, which is the first movement of what you're going to hear. And it was like literally the day or so after I completed it that I learned that Julian Bream had passed. And, I was very moved by that and by the kind of synchronicity of it all. So I was then moved to continue. Um, and so I happened to see again the Silex of Apollo, which then became the inspiration for the second movement. And there is a third movement, a kind of idyll, which hopefully you'll hear at another point. But for this evening, you'll hear the work and the movement inspired by the Klimt and the movement inspired by the Silex of Apollo. And so grateful for the wonderful collaboration that I've had with Dan, who's playing. I know you're about to deeply enjoy. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Paul, and greetings to everybody. Thanks for joining us. Brantley. Thank you, Paul. Thanks, everybody.
Keep clapping so they can hear you. What a beautiful performance of such an evocative piece. We're thrilled to have you, Dan, and thank you so much for giving this pre-premiere. I have to say, as a composer, you know, this is a very special moment, right, Paul, when you get to hear the birth of, you know, something that's been existing in your in your brain for so long, and to be able to share it with people. And so it's very special to start the program out with the birth of a new work, KITHARA by Paul Brantley. Thank you so much. Dan Lippel, Paul Brantley. Everyone, you can donate to these excellent performers by making a simple tax-deductible contribution using the link in the chat and on our website, szalonarts.org. And now I'm super excited to introduce to you Maggie Hasspacher, performing from Vancouver. Maggie is a bassist, vocalist, and songwriter. She was a member of the Grammy-nominated Los Angeles new music ensemble Wild Up, and is now the newly appointed principal bass of the Kamloops Symphony Orchestra, faculty at the St. James Music Academy, and a songwriter released under the label of Purple Mollusk Music. Let's give our warmest welcome back to Maggie, who will perform excerpts of pieces written specifically for her. Maggie Hasspacher.
Having me. Andrea, thank you. I loved hearing Paul's piece. He wrote a piece for me. I have to say that is just another specimen of his beautiful writing. Thank you so much for yeah, exactly. He's the best. I have two small works for you. This first one comes from a friend I met at Bang on a Can, which is a festival in Massachusetts way back in 2008. And she wrote this piece for me, which is 25 pages. And it's quite epic. And I had the chance to work with her on it 2 years later and perform it, but she has recently, we performed it at an Impulse Festival in Graz in Austria, but she recently has started experimenting with sound, I don't even know how to describe it, electronics, basically, live process electronics. So we're rethinking the piece, and she has already used part of her electronics in a performance that she did, and so we're sort of brainstorming about what we can do to combine our versions. And here is the first 5.5 minutes of her piece, called Maggie's Connection. Someday I betray my body, pretending to feel happy. Therefore my body comes into dancing and rejoicing with every curve of itself. My body keeps rejoicing and feeling like a salty wind-filled sail. Sometimes my body is betraying myself. Time silent on 20 languages. So simple it is. The moment you start breathing in with your own dialect, the other human gets breathing out with the dialect of his own. At one time, living at the sea coast. Bitter taste of sea resembled to me the bitterness of one day, fortune awarded me the company of a lute player. He used to declare that human thinking is corresponding to between strings, as well as space between thoughts, look like strings themselves. Thank you. That was Anna's piece. Thank you so much. She's wrote a section, that whole last section, I guess I could have told you beforehand, about she described to me an amulet in the Russian forest that somehow protects children, and it was like another world opened up to me when she said that, so I was trying to achieve that. I don't know if I did, but it was really, really fun to perform. This next piece is by a Swiss composer, which I met playing in a chamber group for the Lucerne Festival Composers Project. They have like 12 composers who are all under 25 or something like that come and perform and write pieces for us. This part of the piece, this is actually an excerpt from the piece that he wrote. It was a solo that he wrote for bass. I adapted it with my 10 and 11-year-old students who were all at a little workshop with me, and there were 6 of them standing around. We took, this is going to be an unusual piece. If you thought that last one was unusual, here is something further. And we took this piece and adapted it for ourselves to perform at that workshop, just, third and fourth graders, and they were amazing. So I sent it to the composer, and he took it out of the full chamber work and dedicated it to me. I was like, all right. So here's the Canadian/United States premiere. It's called Verse 4. Thank you.
There we go.
If you can imagine a lot of 10-year-olds playing that piece, they had a lot of fun. So that's, Thank you so much, Andrea. I look forward to hearing the rest of the show.
Thank you so much, Maggie. I'm sure we're going to have questions for you. That was incredible, intriguing, so unique. And I certainly have questions about how you manipulated, what do you call that? The technique that you used for the second piece. It was incredible. I've never heard anything quite like it. So thank you so much. Maggie has just been like, a force in creating her own field, really, for classical and contemporary bass and singing and contemporary techniques. And she's been a true gift to composers. And so I applaud you and all of us as well. Thank you, Maggie Hasspacher. Everyone, just a reminder that you can make a simple tax-deductible donation to support the performers. That link is in the chat and also on the website, salonarts.org. To learn more about these artists and how else you can support and follow them, please go to our artist page, which has the program bios and links for each performer. As I mentioned earlier in the evening, Tonight's Salon is dedicated to dancer, choreographer, poet, musician Manfred Fischbeck, and there are several dance works on this program. Philip Ellis Foster contacted me about presenting his work with his open dance ensemble in New York City, and it reminded me of group motion in its authentic movement expression. Philip Ellis Foster created the Open Dance Ensemble in 2017 to implement a new choreographic strategy, self-conducted improv, one in which the dancers conduct each other while dancing. They've employed this technique as well as traditional narrative approaches to dance in structured improv performances in more than a dozen new works, from abstract works to an homage to Pina Bausch. Philip can't be at the Q&A, so if people go to his Open Dance Ensemble website, just follow the link in the chat to our program page, they can learn more about his work and contact him. Join me in welcoming to the Salon for the very first time, Philip Ellis Foster in New York City.
Thank you, Andrea. Good evening, everyone that's there in the Salon and everyone that's in the universe in the SZalon. It's a real pleasure and privilege to be able to speak to you all this way. I'm going to talk to you about two things, basically the Open Dance Ensemble, which is a dance company, and also we'll show you a video of one performance that this company has presented. The Open Dance Ensemble has performed in Philadelphia a few years ago. And if you happen to be in the New Jersey area, we have two shows coming up in early April and more shows coming up in New York City the rest of the month, which is the place where we're based. A little bit of background. Several years ago, I was involved in playing in an improvised music ensemble, improvised music orchestra, actually. And the orchestra had a conductor. The musicians would improvise, but there was a conductor who would give us signals, sometimes to play louder or softer, or to play a particular melody, or to do whatever we wanted to do, or nothing. At the same time, I was also involved in the dance world and dance and choreography, in particular in improvised dance. Authentic movement is one form of improvisation, so to speak, that Andrea mentioned. And I noticed in the performances of improvised dance, to my taste, there was not enough coherence or cohesion. And I got the idea to take the form of a conducted improv from the music ensemble and create a dance ensemble with a conductor. And that was the origin of the Open Dance Ensemble. However, when I first got everybody together, there were 8 young ladies and an old guy, namely me, and the world had changed. And at that point, it dawned on me that it wouldn't be such a great idea to have an old goat trying to conduct young ladies. So I changed the form of this system to have the dancers conduct themselves. That's how it became self-conducted improv. And for each piece, we would have a structure we would decide upon, and there would be someone who would conduct, one of the dancers would conduct the other dancers, and then they could rotate and change. And that way there would be somebody outside bringing unity and coherence to everything that all the dancers were doing, each individually improvising. That's the background of the ensemble, and it's the background to the piece I'm going to show you. The piece is called Demonstration. It is a demonstration of what I've been speaking about. It's an abstract dance, so it's not going to be like Swan Lake. There's not going to be a overt, obvious narrative story here. The opportunity for you is to identify with the dancers, their pleasure in dancing, their creativeness, and their spirit, and to be moved by that from the video and if you have a chance to see us in person, in person. So although there's no literal message here, it turns out that the dance form, self-conducted improv and demonstration, is also a metaphor. It's become a metaphor for the decentralization of authority. There's not one conductor. Each person has a chance to organize and share with the other people. So this decentralization and alternate sharing of power, sharing of authority can be viewed as a metaphor for social organization or even for political organization. So with that lengthy introduction, I hope I haven't taken too much of your time. Now we'll show you the video of a performance that was done outdoors a few years ago called Demonstration. I do hope that you enjoy watching the video, and thank you for your attendance.
They are performing a piece called Demonstration. Here we go. Thank you, Open Dance Ensemble. That was absolutely beautiful.
Philip, thank you. Thank you so much, Philip. It was so beautiful to watch. And, it was like they had this special code, and yet it wasn't a secret code because you could kind of sense what the conductor was doing, whether it was regard to space or height or energy or character. It was really, really beautiful to watch. Thank you so much for that.
Thank you for the opportunity to show the piece. There's a lot I could explain about the signals and so forth and so on, but maybe another time.
Thank you. Well, we hope to see you again in Philadelphia, and there are many of us who love to dance. So if you ever do anything that's an open dance, we'd love to join you. Thank you so much, Philip Ellis Foster.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
That was beautiful.
Thank you.
Thanks again. And now we're going to move things over to my home, where you're going to hear the next few ensembles, all streamed out from my loft here in Philadelphia. It's so exciting to have live music back here again. Give me just a moment to change the setup here so I can address the local audience and you. And a reminder that all of you on Zoom are encouraged to unmute and applaud at the very end of each performer's set. Give us just a moment. I'm really thrilled to welcome my longtime colleagues and friends, Dave Posmontier and Chico Huff. They are not strangers to the Philadelphia music scene or far beyond that. They're both illustrious performers, and it is such an incredible honor to have you both here to bring music back to the Salon.
Thank you.
Now I get to just brag about you for a minute, and then you can play. Dave Posmontier has been playing piano professionally for the past 50 years. A pianist, organist, composer, arranger, and teacher, he's performed and recorded with many jazz artists, including Christian McBride, James Moody, Chris Potter, Grover Washington Jr., and Johnny Hartman. The renowned Settlement Music School honored 100 alumni who have made a difference in the world of music, and Dave and his brother Rich were chosen to receive this honor. Chico Huff has been playing electric bass professionally for 100 years, no, sorry, 40 years. Over the years, Chico has performed and recorded with the likes of James Taylor, Carly Simon, Terrence Blanchard, John Belushi, Dr. John, Jefferson Airplane, and the list goes on. He's had the chance to travel throughout the U.S. and Europe extensively, and I'm thrilled to welcome from the Salon's living room, Dave Posmontier and Chico Huff.
Thank you so much, Andrea, and it's a pleasure and an honor to be here. We're going to do two pieces. The first one is a tune that I wrote many years ago. I was driving by a Quaker meeting house, and I saw a sign that said, "There is no way to peace. Peace is the way." So that inspired me to write this piece. And we're going to segue that, go right into the second piece that is written by a great pianist, jazz pianist from the Dominican Republic named Michel Camilo. And it's a funky piece that we always have fun playing. We were actually recorded the first piece, Peace is the Way, back in 2010. Chico and I, but we had two other players with us. And so we're gonna do those two tunes for you now. Hope you enjoy.
Dave Posmontier, Chico Huff, we love you. Please come back. Thank you so much. And now I'm delighted to welcome duo VERCIO or VERCIO?
Yes.
Which one?
Whichever you like.
I use the Italian, VERCIO, who I believe was scheduled to perform in 2020, but of course, then I took the series online, and they wanted to wait until they could perform live again, so it took 2 years to get them here, and I'm so thrilled to welcome the duo VERCIO, which is Rebecca Simon and Samuel Lorber, finally to the Salon stage. The duo is based in the Philadelphia area. They presented multiple recitals, and they're seeking to expand the repertoire for this unusual instrumentation. So they've commissioned new works. Yay. Rebecca Simon is an active orchestral and chamber musician, and she was recently named Principal Flute of the New Jersey Chamber Orchestra. Congratulations on that. Samuel Lorber has played the major orchestral saxophone solos with the Delaware, Harrisburg, and Bay Atlantic Symphonies. He's taught at Westchester University and coaches chamber music at the University of Pennsylvania. They are going to play the Philadelphia premiere of a piece by my colleague and friend, Thomas Whitman, who is here in the audience tonight. The piece is entitled The Secret Life of Diana Prince, written for them by Tom. And our composer is with us, so I'm going to invite Tom Whitman, who's Professor Emeritus of Music at Swarthmore College and has composed many works, including 5 operas. And he also runs a gamelan ensemble, and you've performed here with your gamelan. Thomas Whitman.
Thank you. Thanks so much. Thanks so much for inviting us, and thanks to these folks for all the hard work they put in on this piece. I also need to thank Gary Rosen for giving us some legal advice, which has been very helpful. On that note, I should say that I am not sponsored by or affiliated with DC Comics in any way. This piece, The Secret Life of Diana Prince, is an homage to a wonderful book by Jill Lepore that I recommend very highly. It's called The Secret History of Wonder Woman, and it kind of traces the intellectual roots of the comic book character to the suffrage movement at the turn of the 20th century. I could talk about it at great length, but I have only 30 seconds, which I've already almost used. So I'll just tell you what the titles of the movements are. The first movement is called Strength of Hercules, Wisdom of Athena, which was the idea behind the character. The second movement, Women of Amazonia, evokes a mythical land inhabited and ruled solely by women. The third movement is basically about the secret identity, Diana versus Wonder Woman. And the last movement is called Battle, which employs all comic books have to have a big battle scene, obviously. But in this case, it uses a tune that was sung by suffrage, by participants in the suffrage movement, which is called Let Us All Speak Our Minds, which was an admonition to married women to actually speak up to their husbands. So we hope you enjoy the piece.
So much, Sam Lorber, Becky Simon, duo VERCIO, and Thomas Whitman for that Really, really beautiful piece. I'm so intrigued by so many things about it, so I hope you can stay and we can talk to you a little bit later. I thought the interaction between the two instruments was fascinating, and I have questions to you about your, the choices that you made and certain bitonality in parts, and whether the gamelan work that you do influences any of your choice of material. Thank you so very much. Thomas Whitman, duo VERCIO. Everyone, do consider making a donation to these excellent performers. It's tax deductible, and you can use the link in the chat, those of you who are here. It's on the invitations, and it's on the website, salonarts.org. So every little bit helps. I mean, those of you who are in the audience who are performers know that, it's taken a long time to start to bring the music world back, and we really want to support you. So thank you, everybody, for your consideration. Many of us here in Philadelphia have performed together over the years, and it's my great pleasure to welcome back my friend and beautiful singer-songwriter, Alexandra Day. Alexandra has had a diverse and vibrant performance career, singing with jazz combos for weddings, and in 2021, she was cast as an onstage musician for Ballet X. As a pianist, singer-songwriter, she's released 3 albums, and she's done quite a bit of touring from Boston to New Orleans and also in the Caribbean. Her best joke, she says, is to tell the truth, and you do it so well. She's performed at the Salon many times and also at other events that I've had here and I hope to bring back. Let's give our love to Alexandra Day.
Thank you. Thank you. Thanks for having me, Andrea. I have not been here doing this in a long time, and I feel like my head is gonna pop off. So just a little background. I got sick about 4 months before the pandemic started, so I got in the pajama pants and the identity crisis a little earlier than the rest of you. And this song, the first one's it's sort of short, and it's about just questioning, what even am I? Like, what is even happening? And yeah, about a year after that illness, like in January of 2021, I did a songwriting challenge where I wrote a song every day, and so I'm gonna do 3 songs from that. I've never played any of them in front of anyone, even like one person. So here we go. This one goes out to anybody who is struggling to accept where they are right now for whatever reason. I just wanna be alive. I feel dead right now, but if dead is what I feel, and that's real, and I know it, isn't that what it means to be alive? I just wanna grow up, but I feel like a child, but I own my own mess and my stress, and I know it, isn't that what it means to grow up? Isn't that what it means to be alive? I just wanna believe, but my faith is gone. But I reached out for help, and that's hope, and I know it. Isn't that what it means to believe? Isn't that what it means to grow up? Isn't that what it means to be alive? so some of these I would procrastinate till the end of the day, and then at 10 p.m. I would just like lay in the bed half dead with my ukulele and just write whatever would come out. Like I'm just gonna write something horrible, and then I can go to bed. And like sometimes that was more true than, all my fans like trying to rhyme and bullshit and like ego and blah, 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 like look at how high I can sing and stuff like that. This one's about just some specific things that I was really missing in the middle of the pandemic. Here we go. Go slow, it's always stop and go. I know there is such room to grow. Take hold, pass it on down the road. Easy, not too much at once. Easy, not too much at once. So much wisdom and strength here. Don't push. It's our favorite saying here. Why rush? Let it take half a year. Easy, not too much at once. Easy, not too much at once. I miss the parking lot. I miss the little talks. I miss the coffee pot, even the cracked walls. I miss the dusty fan, bright sunlight streaming in. I miss the folding chairs, even the saying prayers. Most of all, I miss the laughing. Oh no, here comes that pain again. Breathe slow, mind of my brain again. I know I can be sane again. Easy, not too much at once. 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 Hey, this is fun. This last one I wrote on January 6th, 2021, and there was some stuff going on that day. Pretty big day, pretty ugly. So it was really, actually, there was a lot of, like, also the inauguration happened that month, so it was cool for me to, like, process current events and everything, like, just through songwriting. I don't really do songwriting about current events too much, but I had no choice. And this song is about that, and it's also about trying to find peace inside myself and calm, whatever you want to call it, equanimity, serenity, regardless of what else is going on and what's even going on in my own body. And, okay. Also, it seems like a good day to ask for peace. Also, it's always a good day to ask for peace, but especially with the war in Ukraine right now. So at the end, I will invite you to sing along with me for the peace part. You'll see, it's just a refrain. You can sing if you want. I'll let you know. Okay. I wanted something sacred, I wanted something safe. He tried to replace the stars and stripes with his own name. The sine curve of success is cresting, watch out for the wave.
today. Thank you for your courage and your willingness to share all of that new material with us. It was very moving, and we need peace. Oh, yeah. And thank you all for singing. Our next performers, Marion Halliday happens to be in Philadelphia, and I'm thrilled that the stars aligned to bring her here to perform for us tonight. And she has brought her friend, Megan Carey, who's performed here before, and many of you know Megan as well. They're both very active performers, and I can't wait to hear what they have in store for us. Marion Halliday is a native Kentuckian who is now splitting her time between Louisville and Philadelphia. She sings her own special blend of bluegrass, bourbon-infused original woman-powered Americana. Marion will be joined on vocals by Megan Carey, who's a known presence here in Philadelphia as a singer-songwriter and who can be heard with her band, Megan Carey and Analog Gypsies. Let's give it up for Marion Halliday and Megan Carey here at the Salon.
Thanks so much. Boy, that was wonderful. Let's give it up again for Alex. That was amazing. I'm just so glad to be here, Andrea, and to be in person. It's just such a joy. It's slightly stressful for the musicians like myself who haven't played for real people for quite a while. And I'm not sure, am I on? So anyway, the first song I'm going to do for you, I wrote during the pandemic. It's the first time I really played it, and for real people. Yeah. So yeah, here we go. And you know, like many of us, I think during the pandemic, it was like this sudden realization. I don't know how I missed it my entire life until that moment. That there's so many people who do so much to keep the things going in our lives that we just take for granted. And I don't know if there's any essential workers out there, but there are a few, maybe out in cyberspace. But there's a lot of essential people in our world and our community, so this song is for them. Don't know the man picks up my garbage. I just know he comes and gets it on Tuesday nights. Don't know the girl bags my groceries, but I like how she wraps the eggs up good and tight. Don't know the bus driver lives on the corner, but I smile at her as she walks, got an annoying dog. I don't know the firefighter lives on the third floor, but I sure love to watch him when he goes for a jog. I don't know them, I don't know them, I don't know them, I don't know them.
Who sticks me with needles, I just know I never could do.
the other song I'm going to do for you, it's called Time to Live Again, and I feel that's kind of how I feel coming out of this pandemic. I didn't really write it about the pandemic because I wrote it before, but anyway, I think we all feel a need to just embrace now this moment, and there's some mourning to do. I think we all have a little mourning to do, but it's time to move on and live again.
Tied the boat, we stove the sails, we cast the anchors in, we watched the tide roll out and back, jump up the pier to swim, cedar boards and iron nails, they make a dock quite strong. But even things
Thank you, Marion Halliday, Megan Carey. What a blessing to have you. And that last song, yes, it's time to live again. Thank you so, so much. And Marion, I'm so grateful that the timing worked out for you to actually play here live.
Yeah.
Next time in Mexico. Everyone, a quick reminder to consider donating to these wonderful performers. The link is in the chat. It's also at salonarts.org, and it's tax deductible. Our next performers have both performed many times at the Salon. However, this is their first time working together. Rich Rudin and Katie Bank have a special collaboration, and I'll let them tell you about it. Right? You're next. But first, a little bit of background. Rich Rudin has performed hundreds of works and has performed regularly throughout the Delaware Valley. He's also composed many works specifically for the Salon over, I won't say how many years, maybe 33 years he's performing at the Salon. Amazing. Rich is also the founder and director of Maplewood Music Studio that now exists in 2 locations, Germantown and Chestnut Hill, and offers a wide variety of lessons for students of all ages who want to learn music, every possible instrument as well. Katie Bank is a dancer, dance movement therapist, and a licensed professional counselor. With a background as a professional modern dancer, she's performed mostly throughout the Philadelphia area with Group Motion Multimedia Dance Company, where she currently serves on the board of directors. Over the last 10 years, she's devoted her work to dance music therapy and helping different communities heal through the expressive arts. When I found out that Rich had written a composition called Making Peace that was inspired and dedicated to Manfred, and I think you wrote it before or after? Well, you can tell us. I asked Rich if he would perform that piece here, and it actually, gave me the idea to create every March to do an honoring of Manfred. So thank you for that. So Rich is, he's going to perform the piece that he wrote, Making Peace, and I introduced him to Katie Bank, and I don't believe they've ever worked together before. No. Katie created a dance to the music. She couldn't be with us here tonight, so you're going to hear Rich play it live, and then you're going to see Katie's dance to the same piece, and I'll bring Katie on virtually in a few minutes. So I'll turn things over to Rich. You might want to say more about the piece, but first, welcome Rich Rudin.
Well, it is a real pleasure. This is an okay mic to use, yes? Okay. It's a real pleasure to be here again after so long. And it's a great thing to see all your faces, or most of your faces. And also great to welcome all the people that I can't see. Thank you for being there. So this piece was written during the time that I really believed Manfred was recovering. And I was kind of putting the finishing touches on it and deciding the intro, the end, and the title. And then I heard that he had passed away. And it gave a new meaning to the piece, which I kept playing all the time. I played it like, a dozen times a day for like a week. And I was trying to decide, is this a peaceful piece, or is this just sad? And I was trying to decide what to name it. And I thought, that's exactly the struggle that I imagined Manfred was going through at the end. That acceptance, which we all will have to face at some point. And I have no doubt that he faced it deeply, thoroughly, peacefully. So I did call this piece Making Peace with that in mind. Of course, today it takes on a new meaning, and we can apply it to that too. We certainly know that this is a sad time, and we look forward to making peace. And I want to thank Katie Banks for doing a beautiful video that you'll see, and it's a shortened version of the piece that I pre-recorded, but it's beautifully done. So thank you, Katie.
really, really beautiful. And I don't know if you know, but Manfred, the name, his name, Manfred in German means man of peace. Yeah. Very, very beautiful. And I'm so excited about this collaboration with Katie, who worked with Manfred for many years. So I'm eager to see what she did because I haven't seen the video yet. Hi, Katie.
Hi, hello.
It's wonderful to see you. You've danced so many times on this living room stage, and I'm grateful that you've created this piece to Rich's beautiful music. I know that you wanted to read us an excerpt from one of Manfred's poems, so I'm going to turn things over to you. I just wanted to thank you for doing this and to choreographing, to making peace.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, everybody. Grateful to be here. Thank you, Rich. And Manfred was my dance dad, so I'm really grateful to do this. I'm just going to quickly read a poem and then share my screen to show the video. This poem is called Ritual by Manfred. I pray that I be awake at dawn, stand in the doorway of each breaking day, feel the wind, let myself be moved, like a blade of grass, like a drop of water in the stream. Walk on the beach of the morning without desire. Watch my footprints be printed and washed away. Open my mouth not to talk but to sing. Speak with my whole being, soul, heart, brain, muscles, bone, and skin, that I be what I am without question or doubt, like a plant or a bird or a stone. Give what I have to give and when, like the fruit tree that renders its fruit when it has to. Step out onto the streets with joy. Let my movements flow with everyone's movements. Let my body touch another body with love. Do not hold on. Be free of concepts past, present, and future. Be moved to move, breath by breath. Let my life be danced by grace. Let my life be danced. And I'm going to show the video now.
Thank you so much, Katie. That was really just both the piece, the music making piece, your piece, and all of it in honor of someone who lived for peace through movement, through the arts. Thank you. And if you can, stay on with us at the end so we can chat with you a little bit more.
Absolutely. Thank you, guys.
So give us just a moment while we change the setup. We did, okay. These hybrids, you know, there's 2 sets of performers, 2 audiences, 2 cameras. There's a lot to hold together. Kudos again to the tech team who's just doing that. So just a reminder that after the next 2 performances, we will have our virtual toast, which has become a tradition. Actually, we did it here for 33 years, and now we do this as a virtual toast, although all of you will, you're welcome to have some wine here. So please do have your drink of choice ready. People ask how I meet the performers, and I meet them through the music world, through my own travels as composer. And I met Leah Sobsey at Virginia Center for the Creative Arts last summer when I had a creative residency there. As part of the residency, there is often an open studio where the visual artists will show their work. And I was immediately drawn to Leah's work, anthotype photographs, and a lot of the work that she was doing was around memory. And there was something that was so ineffable about it. It just, you know, reminded me of music. And so I asked her if she wanted to present on the Salon. So Leah's here with us today, and I'm very, very grateful. Leah Sobsey is an artist, associate professor of photography and director of the Gatewood Gallery at the University of North Carolina in Greensboro. She has a show opening on May 12th at the Harvard Museum of Natural History. The show uses Henry David Thoreau's herbarium collection as it relates to climate change. It's at this intersection of art and science, which is essentially what Leah's work is about. She has a beautiful set prepared for you tonight, so I'm going to turn things over to Leah Sobsey, presenting to you from Chapel Hill, North Carolina. Let's give a warm welcome to Leah.
Thank you, Andrea, for having me. It's been really meaningful to have this salon be virtual for the last couple of years, and I've enjoyed it along with my twin 8-year-olds who are sitting quietly next to me. So I'll be showing 3 videos of my photographic work, and they're set to music by my great-grandfather, Pinkas Jasanowski, who was an esteemed composer and poet, musician, and cantor. He immigrated to the United States from the Ukraine in 1917 and eventually became the cantor at the Jewish Center in Manhattan, where he presided for 34 years until his death in 1954. The pieces are dedicated really to all that are fleeing the violence right now in the Ukraine, and also in memory of my great-grandfather Pinkas, who I never got a chance to meet, but I feel lucky to know him through his music. The first video is from my first monograph, Collections, which was published by Daylight Books. And it's overlaid by a piece of music by Pinkas's called D Shop Meidel that was produced in 1910. So I will go ahead and share my screen.
My uncle opened the wooden drawers of the Field Museum collection, floor to ceiling drawers in my childhood memory. And there were birds, thousands and thousands of birds, vertical in endless rows, bird specimens from across the world. It was beautiful and it was jarring, and it left an indelible imprint. In the years in between, childhood recollections intermingle with my adult understanding and interpretation of that moment. Someone had taken the time to find, catalog, name, tag, and carefully lay these magnificent creatures, now silent in pristine rows, sealed up in drawers like little coffins. Fast forward over 2.5 decades, I'm sitting in my kitchen and I hear a thud against the window. I peer outside and see a beautiful, lifeless, tufted titmouse on my deck. My first instinct is to hold it. My second is to photograph it. It triggers memories from the Field Museum, and so I begin my quest to photograph and somehow memorialize specimens. I started at the North Carolina Museum of Natural Sciences, where I was granted access to handle and photograph some of the 10,000 bird skins they have in their collection. In May of 2008, I was awarded a residency at the Grand Canyon. I knew I didn't have anything to offer to landscape photography at the national park, so I set out to work in the museum collection. Specimens of tiny birds, bleached bones, and clipped ferns housed in drawers of darkness. They had been plucked from their context and illuminated by sun and light, brought to life once again. I had open access to these collections. Now, all these years later, in solitude, I could finally touch, rearrange, photograph, and memorialize these birds. The 100-year-old Verkamp family home, now dedicated to individual artists, looks out directly over the canyon. The apartment had no darkroom, so I crawled through the living room window onto the rooftop, where the sun beat down with desert intensity. Inspired by Anna Atkins, the 19th century botanist and photographer, I decided to create cyanotypes from my photographs. Almost every day for 4 weeks, one chatty raven perched nearby as witness while I worked. Standing at the edge of the canyon, overwhelmed by the magnitude of the landscape, it's easy to miss the details. The museum collections allowed me to examine them, and so I became committed to this lifelong project of working with national park museum collections across the country, photographing birds, butterflies, nests, and even tattered shoes. This project is particularly time-sensitive, as museum collections are currently in a state of crisis due to diminishing funding and support. My current focus on national parks is a way of preserving these fragile specimens that represent American history. This comes at a time when climate change and funding allocations threaten indigenous species and artifacts into extinction. This body of work sheds light on the collections and their impact to science, history, the humanities, and the hundreds of thousands of visitors, current and future, who will leave their footprints on national parks.
So that was the first video. I'm going to show another video. This is the work that Andrea referenced from our residency at VCCA that I was working on in collaboration with Amanda Marchand. This is a project of anthotypes, and I'll go ahead and share my screen again for this project.
This earthen door is a collaborative photo project between Amanda Marchand and myself, Leah Sabzi. The work is a photographic reworking of Emily Dickinson's Herbarium, a flower sampler made as a girl, a forgotten treasure at the intersection of science and poetry. Known today as a poet, Dickinson's oeuvre was published posthumously. During her life, she was recognized primarily for her thriving gardens and green thumb. This project's importance lies in the fact that more than a third of her poems and half her letters reference flowers and plants with intimate and personal symbolism. This earthen door reworks the book's pages with an early photographic plant-based process known as the anthotype. The 66 herbarium pages are reproduced with 66 different plants known to have been grown in or collected near the Dickinson's gardens in Amherst, Massachusetts. These anthotype plant materials are also among the 400 plus species in the herbarium. This project is also a study of color, inspired by the varied hues plants make, and in alignment with color nomenclatures of early geologists Abraham Werner and Patrick Simi. For this work, pigments are extracted from different flowers, fruits, and ferns that we have collectively grown in our own gardens in Quebec and North Carolina. We use a mortar and pestle, creating a flower plant emulsion, coating it on paper through wet wash or dry rubbing, then exposing to UV sunlight. The negatives, printed with permission from open source archives of the herbarium at Harvard's Houghton Library, overlay the plant pigment in this sun printing process. For anthotypes, depending on the light, plant, and season, exposure times are long, lasting days to months. This earthen door is a new 21st century sampler, a photographic study, an ordering of plant color, a classification of the anthotype process, a field guide to plants and flowers then and now, all through Emily's personal garden lens. Part of the impetus for this work has been to engage with renewable and sustainable darkroom practices and ideas in alignment with ecological concerns, as well as a focus on gardens and working from home during the pandemic. The earthen door is taken from a line in one of Dickinson's poems. It alludes to her own garden, a door to earthen delights, as well as a door to mortality, immortality, expressed in the language of flowers so often referenced in her poetry.
So that was from a project that I'm currently working on, again, with Amanda Marchand, that we're working on a book project. So be on the lookout for that in the next year or so. The third video and the last video is about 3 minutes, and it's a murmuration, again, set to my great-grandfather's music. And I think of this piece as a kind of meditation. It's a story about what it means to communicate together. It's about migration and a way to honor, I think, those that are fleeing right now. So I'll go ahead and share my screen again. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. And you know, this well, your great grandfather was just a miracle of a singer, and more than that, you know, it expresses this yearning for the divine that the Jews express through song in the liturgy. And yeah. I thought that your pairing with the murmuration was really stunning, because it was just like, I don't know, the cycle of life and all that's contained in it, and how things pass through and around and over. It's really very beautiful.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you, Leah.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Please do stay on with us. We have one more performer, certainly not least. We'll be closing out our evening with a beautiful dancer and person, Nicole Diaz-Pellat, who's performed here many times on the Salon stage with Manfred Fischbeck and Group Motion. It's a great pleasure to welcome here, this time on the virtual stage, as she's relocated to San Diego, Nicole Diaz-Pellat. She's a performance artist and choreographer specializing in movement research through contemporary improv, Afro, modern, and yoga practices. At the age of 4, she began training at California Ballet, and she became a 6-year member of the San Diego Civic Dance Company. She's performed and trained under a variety of renowned choreographers, including the late Manfred Fischbeck, who introduced her to the Group Motion Dance Company and the healing aspects of dance. Nicole will present an excerpt of a new dance work, Identity, in collaboration with Jose Rodriguez from Ocean Beach, San Diego. Thank you so much, Nicole. I hope that you can stay and chat with us. We're so glad that you could be here tonight, and I'm excited to see your new collaboration. Nicole.
Hi, everybody. It is a true honor to be here. And honestly, I feel so ignited. My artistic fire is just, it's going. It's a pleasure to be here again. Just to elaborate, the last time I presented a piece, it was a collaboration with Manfred Fischbeck. It means so much to me, and something that as he was my dance, what I call my guide and mentor, he has always encouraged me to research identity through movement. And that is what leads into this new series, not to speak for him, but about him, because he cannot be here. My collaborationist, Jose Rodriguez, videographer and editor as well. I will just go ahead and let it speak for itself. Here is Identity, exploration through the senses.
Feel all the love.
I do.
Nicole Diaz-Pella, we love having you. We'd love to have you back here in Philadelphia, but keep doing what you're doing because it's just, you bring, like Manfred, what he wanted was to take dance out into the streets and out into the world and make movement available to people, that it's the greatest liberation and the greatest speech. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
So we're hoping to speak with all the artists in a few minutes, but first I would just like to thank all the performers for a beautiful and inspiring evening. And once again, the incredible Salon tech team. I would love to ask the tech team to spotlight themselves, and those tech team members that are here, please come up to the camera so we can show you all of our appreciation. Come on up.
Yeah.
Oh, that's the wrong one. Thank you all so much. That was Gerardo Rizumni, Alex Glass, Andrew Litz, Michael Schweisheimer, who couldn't come down because he's way up in the loft, Tom West, Stephen Macbeth is in the back doing photos, Bill Houston, Thilo Mark Bracken, Vartan Sarkissian, and George Rodriguez. And I'd love to thank all the Sitten House team members as well, Jennifer Kopp-Lewis, Elliot Blake, Connie Copy, Laura Burton, Ray McFadden, and Edna Santiago. It takes a village to host a hybrid. Thank you all. If you'd like to be on the Salon invitation list, you'll receive the dates, programs, and links. Please write to me. My email is on my website, AndreaClearfield.com. My next SZalon will be on April 24th. It'll be another hybrid, so you can watch on Zoom, or if you're in the area, please do RSVP for a seat. We'd love to see you then. So before a customary virtual toast, let's show one more big round of applause to all the performers for such a beautiful and inspiring evening. Do you all have your drinks? We're going to toast to art, to health, to community, to peace. L'chaim, salud.